The story of Joseph, found in Genesis 37-50, is a powerful tale of betrayal, resilience, forgiveness, and God's providence. Joseph, the beloved son of Jacob, was favored by his father, symbolized by a richly ornamented robe. This favoritism, combined with Joseph's dreams of his family bowing to him, stirred jealousy among his brothers. They sold Joseph into slavery in Egypt and deceived their father into believing he was dead. In Egypt, Joseph served Potiphar, a high-ranking official, and quickly rose to prominence because of his integrity and God's favor. However, he was falsely accused by Potiphar's wife and imprisoned. Even in prison, Joseph's leadership and ability to interpret dreams brought him recognition. He interpreted the dreams of Pharaoh's cupbearer and baker, which eventually led to him interpreting Pharaoh's dreams about an upcoming famine. Joseph's accurate interpretation and wise advice earned him the position of Pharaoh's second-in-command. He stored surplus grain during 7 years of abundance, preparing for the 7 years of famine that followed. During the famine, Joseph's brothers traveled to Egypt seeking food. They did not recognize Joseph, who tested their character and eventually revealed his identity. The reunion was emotional and marked by forgiveness. Joseph brought his entire family to Egypt, saving them from famine and reuniting them under his care. Joseph's story teaches about enduring faith, the power of forgiveness, and God's ability to bring good from suffering, emphasizing his sovereignty in human lives. Have you ever felt betrayed, abandoned, or stuck in a situation that seemed unfair and hopeless? Joseph's story is for you. Found in Genesis 37-50, Joseph's journey is one of trials, triumphs, and trust in God's plan, even when life seemed darkest. Today, his story speaks to our modern struggles, reminding us of God's sovereignty and purpose in every situation. Joseph begins his life as the favored son, loved deeply by his father Jacob. But this favoritism breeds jealousy among his brothers. They betray him, selling him into slavery. Can you imagine the pain of being betrayed by those closest to you? In our world today, so many people experience broken relationships, rejection, and abandonment. Joseph's betrayal reflects the human condition, the pain of being let down by those we love. Yet even in slavery, Joseph doesn't lose hope. Taken to Egypt, he serves in Potiphar's house, excelling because of his faithfulness and integrity. When falsely accused by Potiphar's wife, Joseph ends up in prison. He could have grown bitter or hopeless, but instead, he remains steadfast. How often do we find ourselves in situations where doing the right thing still leads to hardship? In Joseph's response, we see the power of trusting God even when life seems unfair. In prison, Joseph's ability to interpret dreams earns him favor. His gift, given by God, eventually brings him before Pharaoh, who needs someone to interpret troubling dreams about an impending famine. Joseph doesn't claim credit for his ability. Instead, he points to God as the source of all wisdom. In a world where self-promotion is so common, Joseph reminds us of humility. His life challenges us to use our gifts not for personal gain, but for a greater purpose. Pharaoh appoints Joseph as second-in-command over Egypt, and Joseph devises a plan to store food during years of abundance to prepare for the coming famine. This part of the story is deeply relevant to our modern lives. Joseph's wisdom and foresight teach us the importance of stewardship, managing our resources wisely. In a time when we face economic uncertainties and climate crises, Joseph's story reminds us to plan well and care for others in need. Then comes the most emotional part of the story. During the famine, Joseph's brothers travel to Egypt seeking food. They don't recognize him, and Joseph tests their hearts before revealing his identity. Imagine the complexity of this moment. Joseph had every reason to seek revenge, but instead he chooses forgiveness. In our modern culture, where grudges and canceling others seem so common, Joseph shows us a better way. He forgives, not because his brothers deserve it, but because forgiveness sets him and them free. Joseph's words to his brothers are profound. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Genesis 50:20. This verse speaks directly to a world struggling with pain and brokenness. How often do we face situations that seem hopeless, only to later realize that those trials shaped us in ways we couldn't have imagined? Joseph's life teaches us that even in the darkest moments, God is working for our good. For a modern world that often feels lost and directionless, Joseph's story offers hope. It reminds us that betrayal, suffering, and setbacks don't have to define us. Instead, they can be stepping stones towards something greater. Joseph's journey shows us the value of perseverance, integrity, and faith in God's plan. So, how can we apply this story to our lives today? First, Joseph's